Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Judo Reigns. I just want to take a second. I was just sitting here in my sitting nook, and there's just this odd ringing in this one spot of where I live. I can go anywhere else in my dwelling here and not hear the ringing. But when I sit into the most sacred spot of where I do all my work and my reading, my studying, and my recording, there's just this piercing ringing that takes place. And, but I was able, the Most High gave me an antidote. And so I was able to kind of move it out, get rid of the ringing. But it reminds me of how much those that either know the truth or have been touched personally by the Most High in discovering the truth and even many receiving prophecies, those people have been bothered by the invisible forces of evil for decades. There are some reminded by that. It was not only just what happened during the transatlantic slave trade and the subsequent horrors that preceded these ones, but not just for their earthly, but also not only for the heavenly, but for the earthly too. It's been for many, if not all, just a constant nagging and a constant bothering. Very little of them, I would suggest, have ever experienced peace. Like if you are in your home or if you are in your dwelling, wherever you may be, and you're experiencing peace day after day after day, where you're just not being constantly bothered by noise, by obscene things occurring, people coming after you at work, or sometimes if you're just going through your daily life at the grocery store, even sometimes in your family, there's just always some drama, whether or not you are even involved. Somehow it finds its way to you. Um, you know, many of these ones have had to bind what they have or carry what they have through through pain and through just constant no peace in their lives. And it gives this illusion, right, that that they cannot be anointed, or that what they're saying cannot be true, because look what all the stuff that's been happening to them. But you must take into account the wicked world we live in. Like, who else would the demons bother but them? You do know what I mean? They most certainly are not going to bother the people that are serving them. They're going to make their lives seem very easy breezy. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, what we've come to know now, is that a lot of people reverence the very people that the demons were servicing personally. Reverence them and even worship them and think highly of these people. And we have found out now, those that have been in the know and those who have had that enlightenment, that spiritual enlightenment, and have had to be looked upon by many people, if not most, through disdain, or people are uncomfortable about being around them, or many times they are alone, or if they are parents, they've had trouble with their children, grandchildren, or great grandchildren. It's just been, many times they may have even had a person come up to them, if not several, and just out the blue say, "I don't like you." Those kind of things that you're just like, "What? Excuse me? Like, I don't even speak to you," type of thing. It's really the spirit of the Most High that they're having problems with. And they are convicting the spirit of the Most High, which condemns them. But the people who are referenced in society, who can live in homes and they're not receive any to little disturbances from the outside world. As a matter of fact, they receive praise. We're finding that they're on the Epstein list and that they're glorified. So I'm saying this to say that those that have been called by the Most High, whether they were the heavenly class or what are known as the 144,000, or the earthly class of men and women, that many of them, when you all begin to hear their stories, you're going to be pretty amazed that of how pronounced it was as far as the treatment of the world with them. And some, had been loners. They've been on their own. they've been alone, even though they've had families, they just, have been on the outside because again, people's spirit, they can feel people, that are not resonating with them. And when they do find someone that resonates with them, it's so surprising. And then, of course, after a while, it always ends up that the demons would intervene and cause disruptions and just a lot of heartache and headaches to filter in. And so a lot of those that are going to, if not all of the earthly anointed who will be those making up Christ's kingdom administration, they're going to have a real story to tell of just it's not going to be, some will be kind of really wild and crazy and out there. And then others, it's going to be very just like, wow, this happened every single day. And to each his own, right? Um, Everybody has a unique story to tell. It's not about the pain Olympics. It's really is considering that their story has preeminence as to the station that they carry, and that they had to bind that station through stripes and very little accolades. They weren't seated up against a podium with everyone giving them praise. And again, we're finding out that many people who do stand up on the podium or on the pulpit have been doing a lot of deplorable things behind the scenes. Now, yes, human beings are imperfect and they do things, but you know what? Many people who we're finding on the Epstein list held themselves up to be the epitome of what was right and how to conduct yourselves in the human society. And now if you conduct yourself this way and that way, then you too would be in the same position that they were in if you just work hard enough and if you just acted right. But what we're finding that out is that that was all just a big fat lie. It was furthest from the truth, and that what the cost of the thing to appear and to deceive the public was built on something very, very deplorable and very, very awful. And some of the people that are found in these files are some of the most uh, uh, um, questionably some of the most awful people that you ever want to meet, and quite frankly, allegedly some of the most dangerous people you ever want to run into on a dark alley. And yet here they are in front of the camera, receiving all of these accolades for being a person that they are not, and for allegedly selling themselves to the devil. And so don't judge a book by its cover. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. Don't judge a book by its cover. Some of the people who've had the what we consider wealth and success have been turned out to be literally servicing and anointed by Satan and the demons, and in cahoots with them and doing again these awful, awful things that have been revealed in the Epstein files. What little we've seen, know that there's millions and millions and more of information, bits of information that will come out that are probably is going to make the world's stomach turn. Those who actually have a stomach and a heart to be turned. There are some people who just don't care. I mean, if they can join that, they would. And what we're going to find out is that the humble servants were truly humble. Many of them were probably many are working day jobs, or night jobs. Some, if not most, are don't have a whole bunch of people praising them and propping them up and or even speaking to them. And others, they are, living paycheck to paycheck. And and that blame is not going to be placed on the Most High as to why they're in that condition. It's going to be placed on the world, on this wicked world, and it's going to show it up for what it truly is, and that it is not a world that was about righteousness, but a world about deceit, about doing wrong and reveling and glorifying that, and about doing just the most outlandish things in order to corrupt people and corrupt systems and corrupt nations, and that those people were praised by showing a false face to others, while the trueness of who they were was hidden in the shadows doing all kinds of things in order to obtain that position and stay in that position. I mean, there are people who've had to do things below the waist and marry people that they didn't want to be with or didn't love, but because the person was stronger in whatever part of the Epstein world that they fell in, if they wanted to stay in the group, they had to bind themselves to these people, have children with them, and just all kinds of things. And then because that they didn't want to be there, now the kids are also too messed up, and even sometimes allegedly, there's rumors that these people use sex magic, and they would actually, you have people who are warlocks and witches in these high stations, if not all of them, that do work spells and entrap people, and it's not really love but lust that they have obtained these people. And again, I remember this anointed one, just with the wisdom of, sometimes you may see a couple and you will wonder, how did she get him, or how did he get her? Like, and we put up this picture of, well, it was just love, and we're finding out it's not about that at all, that it is something very, very dark and very malicious, and that somebody cooked up some type of potion or something else that has been put out there for them to get this particular person, and many times you find that they're at the end of it, they're ruined, because they didn't want to even be with this person at all. But in order to get to the next level or to move in this direction, and sometimes they didn't even want to do that. They've been caught unawares and been entrapped by these people. You do have witches and warlocks in, not only in Hollywood, but in all levels of the society. And really what I understand now is that many of the anointed have been isolated, to what I'm realizing, to be protected and to not end up in these situations. And so, not all, but many, many, many of us have had to just kind of walk this world alone. And there is something imbued in us where we can hold up against that, and it hasn't been a struggle. There is some peace without having to worry about many of the things that I would say personally that I'm seeing out there going in the world, not just on with the most famous and powerful of this world as it's closing out, but just in every day. I'm seeing that people are in relationships that you can tell that they don't want to be in, and you can tell that the person must have done something on the demonic side of the game in order to obtain a particular person or entrap them. And now they're bind to this person or bound to this person. They can't get rid of them because they either have assets with them or they have children with them, and now they're where they are. So, oh goodness. So a little bit of irritation. I would say that I'm noticing is that it's less and less, but there's some of it that is still popping up, but it's less and less. And I think it's probably because it's solely under human ingenuity and esteem. And so it's not bothering me as much. It's like on the light side of the game. It's not the heavy stuff, because there's been some stuff I'm just like, oh my goodness. But and I know that there are others who have had to deal with the same exact thing, and even more, actually, even more stuff. And so I think that when crisis kingdom administrators are gathered together, the stories that they'll be telling each other, my goodness, it's going to be really, really something. But I also believe that there's going to be a running thread between us, a running theme, I should say, with all of us. And it is going to be proof positive that we have earned our stripes, and and the place that we have been placed is by divine intervention, regardless of what the masses may think and may not think. So yeah, so I just want to say to all of those ones, keep going, Don't stop. You are human, and you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to feel all the things that you feel as a being on this planet, especially as we are transitioning. And there's a lot of things that I know at this point, at this juncture in time, you're not even shaking your head over anymore. You're just like, yep, this is what it is. But you can also feel that turning too, that it's not as strong. If not, it may be even less of a nuisance, in the matter of that you're able to bear it more so and just keep it moving. And so into that, I just want to send my my thoughts of gratitude and my thoughts of strength for all of us, and also the sweetness of victory as it's unfolding, and just to continue to hang on and to never give up. I believe that we are literally on the precipice. Now, I am right now asking the Most High to just go ahead and turn it over because I believe that many of us would not complain at this point. If not all of us would be like, thank goodness we don't have to deal with this rigmarole anymore. We're now on the other side. And so that's my prayer for right now. And I do feel like I am being heard. There are just many things in my life, especially recently, many things that I look around and I'm like, yeah, this is not under all my intelligence and ingenuity. I've been through a very, very tough period in my life, but I haven't lost a thing. Um, yeah, I haven't lost my home. I haven't lost my transportation. I got a little bit of rest and some exercise, and there were tough spots. Sure, there were really tough spots, but there were signs and symbols that have been given to me consistently to let me know that nope, I have you where I have you, and I'm right here. And I really do believe if I have two or one angels, it could be more, that is surrounding me. And yeah. So, and I pray this for you, and even more actually. I pray that there's even more being bequeathed to you out there who are going through all kinds of things. I'm sure. I hope that is lightening up for you, and that some of the roadblocks, if they are still there, that you are too receiving signs and symbols that you are being carried, and that you have backup, and that that backup is absolutely protecting you, and it's absolutely communicating with you on a positive level. Of course, of course. Anyway, thank you for listening.